My husband and me are married for 11 years. He had an emotional affair 6 years ago and just now I can't get it out of my mind. Am I crazy? I don't really know how and where to begin, because I'm not even sure if it's an issue. My husband and me are married for 11 years, together for 13. We have 3 beautiful sons. We are one of these couples who are not just still attracted to each other, but also are best friends, enjoy each other's company and do mostly everything together. With all of that being said, about 6 years ago he had an emotional affair with a co-worker. At that time, we had 2 small children, life was busy and exhausting. I never saw that coming though, as we still, even with all the stress and sleepless nights due to kids, had a really strong bond on all levels. I discovered the affair through emails that were exchanged when his account was left open on our computer. I had no suspicion, so it hit me completely unexpected. When I confronted him, he confessed. He said it started all innocent. There were some lunches spent together, emails exchanged where she expressed how she felt about him, he enjoyed the attention, shared about his life. The worst part, they picked up some food after work once and he went to her apartment. It was late at night, he fell asleep on the couch, woke up a few hours later and left. At some later point, a kiss happened. This was apparently the only physical thing that ever happened between them, and when he realized what he is jeopardizing. He swears up and down they never slept together and never changed his story. When I found out, we were 2 weeks away from moving overseas. I was heartbroken, but felt I didn't have time to actually process without putting our lives on hold. We quit our jobs, took kids out of daycare, our lease was up. And I loved this person so much, I felt I could truly see his regret in his eyes. He was relieved it was out, but had hoped with us moving, he could close this chapter and start fresh. The first year was hard. I had to rebuild my trust, in a new country, building our lives at the same time. After that it got easier. He put all the work in that was necessary, was like an open book, and while I never forgot, I definitely forgave him. Well, now, a few years later, it seems it's resurfacing. I made a connection with a man for the first time after 13 years, where I feel, if I wasn't married, things would look different. Don't get me wrong, I never cheat her, I'm not planning on, but I built some sort of emotional connection that is hard to ignore. With that happening, what happened 6 years ago keeps coming up. All of a sudden I see it as more severe as I saw it back then. I was so focused on he didn't sleep with her, it was just one kiss, while now I feel, they must have had a really strong connection. He must have really liked her that this bond built over a few months and he never stopped it. He kissed her. He lied to me, while I was home with our children, he spent time with her. While I went through 2 pregnancies, was insecure in my own body, he chose the company of a woman, who was younger, without kids, never stressed and exhausted, but in the best shape of her life. He broke something in me that all of a sudden after all these years comes back and haunts me. I can hardly think about anything else for weeks, because all of a sudden I can relate and realize what a big step it actually was to step out of the marriage and kiss another person. I trusted him, he was the one person I trusted with everything, and he betrayed me. We went through a lot of obstacles to be together, we built something that he, maybe not destroyed, but there's a crack that never fully goes away. On the other hand, am I crazy? It's 6 years ago. I'm telling myself to move on and just let this be. Am I ridiculous? Don't obsess over a kiss, my marriage is great, we are still, or again, best friends. I don't want to bring things up after so many years. At the same time, it keeps my mind busy and I feel it's unfair I have to deal with this, while he brought us in this situation. I hate that I did not have time back then to process, get some distance, think if I can move forward, because I felt I didn't have a choice. We were moving. I guess I'm looking for some input and feedback on how to go from here and see how other couples who have forgiven are doing after a few years. Am I allowed to be hurt after forgiving and years that have passed? Edit, just to clarify. I have not engaged in any way with the man I mentioned I met. I realized this could potentially go in the direction of an emotional affair, so I ended all communication. No flirting, no engaging, nothing. And I'm not planning to. The issue seems to be not the other man, but the fact that the situation brought up what happened 6 years ago, and the fact that I'm probably very sensitive to the subject, and while I stopped it, he did not. I realized that his connection with the other woman must have been way deeper than I expected, as I was so focused on it was just a kiss, that the part of how emotionally involved he must have been, was not my focus. Comment. For a second I thought it was me who wrote this post. Mother of 3 boys, moved overseas, husband had affair with co-worker, said it was just a kiss. But yes, you absolutely should bring this up to your husband. You didn't get the chance to fully appreciate the depth of the betrayal. You probably didn't get a chance to dig deeper to see if there was more to their affair than what he was saying. Mine trickle-truthed me for 6 months before finally admitting to what happened. When I caught him in a lie about him staying in her hotel on a cot and nothing happened, I believed it. But my gut told me something different. Please talk to him. You and your marriage deserve this. You can't hold this inside. It will eat away at you and grow. I heard from a therapist who works with cheaters that many of them, even when their spouse wants to reconcile, they're in therapy, they've been told they must be honest, will still keep some element to themselves as if the partner can't be fully upset if they don't know everything even if what they know is already awful. I hope I'm explaining well, but in fairness it's an illogical idea. It was Dr. Kirk Honda who explained it. I heard from a therapist who works with cheaters that many of them, even when their spouse wants to reconcile, they're in therapy, they've been told they must be honest, will still keep some element to themselves as if the partner can't be fully upset if they don't know everything even if what they know is already awful. I hope I'm explaining well, but in fairness it's an illogical idea. It was Dr. Kirk Honda who explained it. Many cheaters, I'm not talking about one-ons, which is not what occurred in Off's world anyway, and serial killers have one talent in common: compartmentalization. The ability to juggle different sides of oneself so different it's hard to comprehend. With some it's the same person. BTK refers to it as cubing. Some individuals compartmentalize in a healthy manner. Personally, I can't do it at all. So find it interesting, but that's not the norm. Most use it / discover they have a knack for it when deviant choices start to be weighed/made. I would confront him and push his bottoms. Oh boy, if you tell me you were horny and did it once I could forgive you, but you are telling me that you spend time with her and confide in her and kiss her, which is an emotional connection, but didn't, which is more a primal need. Bullshit, but I'm trying to pressure. Oh, if you actually tell me you were horny we could work this out. You know, try yo, get him to confess, ha ha ha, still won't forgive, is such a betrayal. Like dude, I had handsome men trying to hit on me, I was strong enough to decline, why did you not? That terrible feeling, it's because he already lied to you, so you know that he could still be lying. The trust is broken. This man could lie to you daily and you had no idea. You're incapable of doing it, he wasn't. You owe this man all that loyalty when he didn't give you any of it. I stayed for like 7 or 8 years, but I eventually left mine because I could not love in the same way ever again. Oh, you are not crazy. You are living with the effects of infidelity. My wife began a very tepid emotional affair much longer ago and swears that there was nothing physical at all, no kiss, no hug, no nothing. And I tend to believe her, and that's the truth of infidelity. It plants a seed of doubt that never dies. Talk to your husband and seek counseling. Quickly. Your own interests now threaten your marriage, which, while poetic justice, is not going to restore your happiness. Next story 2. I gave my wife an ultimatum, me or her ex. My wife and I have been married for 12 years. We have 3 kids. For the most part, our relationship is great. She has an ex, he was her first love. I'll call him Ben. Ben is an interesting person to say the least. They dated for 5 years or so. He cheated on her throughout their relationship. Probably 5 to 6 times. Ben is known for being in and out of jail on a regular basis. For him, my wife is the one that got away. For the first 5 to 6 years we were together, he would call her occasionally. I wasn't too worried about it, I knew their history. Sometimes he would call her from jail because he says her number is the only one he knows off the top of his head. I got a good chuckle from that. About 7 years ago, Ben got out of a longer stint in jail. He got a real job working 40 hours a week and was doing okay for himself. He started to call and text my wife more. At first I didn't think much of it, but it got to the point where they were talking on a daily basis. Before she would just kind of laugh about him and his situation, but she was getting pretty invested in his life. When she would talk to him and I happened to be there, her voice would change and it was almost as if she was talking to me. So it started to really bug me. I told her at the time I'm not feeling comfortable with how close they are getting. Texting all the time and talking every day. My gut was telling me that this wasn't right. I know she wasn't physically cheating, but I couldn't help but feel there was some emotional stuff going on. I asked her how I would feel if I read their text conversations. She told me I have nothing to worry about, but I wouldn't like what I see, but mostly cause it would be weird seeing their banter. I pressed for more info. She said yes, there is no doubt he wants to sleep with her, but it doesn't matter because that's not what she wants. She likes having him as a friend. She told me sometimes he would say something like, "I'm waiting for you." So in my mind that's basically the most innocent thing he said, and there is probably much worse. I told her I really don't like this, but she would not stop talking to him. The problem ended up solving itself to an extent. He suddenly disappeared. About a year later he called her from jail. Apparently he decided to pick up dealing drugs, got busted, and now is in prison for the next 3 to 5 years. He got released this year. He got another real job and was feeling confident. So of course, he calls my wife. They texted each other for about a month and they decided to meet up at a restaurant. I told her I'm not too keen on this, but I trust her. So she goes, comes home a couple hours later and is completely trashed. Apparently he started to feed her tequila shots. She had a sticker from his place of work near her butt. I was not happy but played it as cool as I could. The next week she mentioned to me that Ben wanted to go to the restaurant again, but she laughed at him and said no, we can't do this every week, maybe every month. I told her, more like every year maybe. She gave me a dirty look. I said I really don't like this. I'm not telling you who you can or can't talk to, but I'm not liking what's starting to happen. He clearly is trying to get into your pants. It seems like the same cycle that happened last time and I'm just not okay with it. She told me that she has never cheated on me or given me any reason to think she would be cheating on me, and she's earned the right of my trust and she should be able to talk to whoever she wants. She will always have love for him, but she's not in love with him. Yes, he would do anything to sleep with her, but that's not what she wants me. So over the next couple months, they never met up again, but they were texting all the time. She wasn't hiding the fact that they were texting, but it's just odd. She tells me what's going on with all of her friends' lives, but when it came to him she offered as little information as she possibly could. One morning I woke up and rolled over and saw that she was texting him good morning. I was getting the same vibes as before. I told her I'm just not okay with this, I'm worried it's going to evolve into what was going on the previous time he got out of prison. She told me fine, I won't talk to him as much. The next day I was sitting next to her and she had her messages open and I noticed she silenced his notifications. At this point, I was just done. I told her that I'm not going to sit and watch her enter into what my gut tells me is an emotional affair. It happened before, and if it wasn't happening now it would start soon. She gave me the line about never physically cheating. I told her I'm not talking about physical cheating, I'm talking about emotional cheating. So she has a choice, him or me. If she chose me, he needs to be out of our lives. She chose me but is clearly not happy about it. She feels like we lost our foundation of trust and her freedom to talk to whoever she wants, and it was a shitty thing for me to do to give her an ultimatum like that. I told her I don't want to live our life together with this guy in the background constantly trying to get in her pants. She wasn't listening to me, so it was the only choice I had as far as I'm concerned. Just curious what other people's opinions are on how I handled the situation? Comment. You took way too long to stand up for your marriage and put your foot down here. She was having an emotional affair. The fact that he explicitly disrespected you and your relationship to her face and she did nothing to end it is completely unacceptable. She's the one who ruined the foundation of trust in your marriage, and she's the one exercising terrible judgment in deciding who she talks to. Getting drunk with him is insane. Wanting to do it monthly is insane. I don't know why it boggles your mind. She's not seeing this as destroying anything because she sees up as a pushover. Hardcore evidence that she already slept with the guy, and yet it took until now for Up to do anything about it. Heck, he didn't even actually leave her, just gave her a weak ultimatum. Up is saying through his actions that while he's going to whine and complain, he's not actually going to make the difficult decisions. Unfortunately, she seems to be one of those women who get obsessed with bad boys who are troublemakers, cheaters, and treat them like something to use at their own discretion, not giving a crap about her life and marriage. His affair started the moment Up allowed them to start talking. He should have said, "Why are you wanting to communicate with the who lied and cheated on you while you are in a relationship?" Now he is finally saying what need to be said all those years ago, but it's too late. She has had years of no accountability for her actions and clearly has her ex in mind, not Up. He should leave this mess and let her go. Up, You need to focus on your happiness, and that clearly no longer involves her. This up you took why too long. You've been too patient. Every time I see you say I don't like where this is going, I thought to myself nah, it's already there. It's my motto to never put myself in a situation that I'll open up a chance for an emotional affair. Me and I expect the same from my partner. It's just the easiest way and most sensical way to avoid any cheating whatsoever. You've been letting it happen. Your wife has put herself in the position, let herself stay there, where another guy can just snatch her. You've been just watching this unfold all this time.